From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Today there was an emergency judge meeting. This all comes in the wake of a wild and crazy week last week, where it seemed like the American judicial system was falling apart, frankly. Why did it seem that way? Well, it was because William P. Barr was bending the rules back and forth and bending them. It's like a piece of metal, a paperclip, if you will. It seems pretty sturdy, but when you bend it back and forth, you just get this feeling that it's gonna break. So what happened? Well, in November, Mr. Roger Stone was facing trial by jury, and he was found guilty of impeding investigations to protect Trump by lying to Congress and witness tampering. Now, on Monday, he was handed down a possible sentencing of 7 to 9 years. It was the sentencing guidelines. Well, this pissed off Mr. Donald Trump, who happens to be the Donald Trump you're thinking of, spoiler alert, the President of the United States of America. So to review, man in power of the whole world, pretty much, let's face it, there's not many people up there. His old pal, from 40 years on, Roger Stone, committed crimes in his name to protect him. And when I'm saying him, it's the great him, the Trump, during the Mueller investigation. Now he's attempting to use the power of the presidency to keep Stone out of the slammer. How is Trump doing this? Well, if you ask Trump, it's because he's very, very good at social media, the best. Last week, when the sentencing recommendation went down, Trump went on record and tweeted, "This is horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side, as nothing happened to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice." Now, this prompted pro-Trumpers to rally to Roger's defense, including Trump's AG, Mr. Barr, who jumped into the fire for him. By Tuesday night, the 7 to 9 year recommendation was decided to be just simply too high. That's too bad a punishment for Mr. Stone, good old cutie boy Stone. Well, this sparked some mutiny. All 4 federal prosecutors who took the case to trial withdrew. They quit. This whole thing pissed a lot of people off, and Barr took to the media to ask Trump to please stop tweeting and making a document trail of all the unlawful things that he's doing as AG on his behalf. And he didn't specifically say it that way, but I mean, we know what he's saying, right? By Monday, which was President's Day, thousands of former Justice Department employees were calling for Barr to resign as AG. Today, there was an emergency judge meeting. Things are hot and heavy in the wake of the Trump victory lap, following the failure of Congress to exercise any restraint on the man on top. The judge in this case, Judge Amy Berman Jackson, is set to sentence Stone on Thursday. What happened in the meeting today has not been released to the public. What we do know is that the Attorney General could be losing the confidence of the judges. And if that's the case, he might not be around forever, or he might not be around forever. Well, I guess he could be around forever. It would just be serving King Trump. Well, we'll see what happens. The coronavirus continues to spread the world and kill people. We are not out of the woods yet, people. You probably want to hear me say, oh, there's a cure and it has eradicated the disease, but no such luck yet, humanity. Today, a respected neurologist who was director of the Wuchang Hospital in Wuhan died. A total of 8 frontline health workers have died, while as many as 3,000 frontline health workers have been infected with the coronavirus. The peak of the virus hasn't even hit yet. It's predicted to come later this month, followed by a plateau. The Diamond Princess cruise is reported to have 542 cases alone. Ugh. Russia will temporarily suspend entry of Chinese citizens due to the coronavirus outbreak starting Thursday, banning them from traveling to Russia for employment, tourism, and education. The latest numbers are currently at 72,528 cases of coronavirus in China, including 1,870 deaths. Outside of China, there are now 804 cases, in 25 countries with 3 deaths. Meanwhile, hundreds of millions of people across China are on lockdown. According to some public health experts, China, in some cases, has not met the criteria for imposing such quarantines. Public health experts have warned that widespread quarantines and travel bans could backfire by denying people needed medical care and having people push their cases underground. In fact, the quarantine Japan imposed on the Diamond Princess cruises could have even been a violation of human rights. By keeping people locked up in close quarters with the virus. It's disgusting. The cruise liner is kept in isolation, and it could result in increased numbers of patients reporting infections. Yikes! Wash your hands, stay away from sick people, stay off cruises. The coronavirus is coming for you. It's a flooding on the Mississippi River. Significant spring-like flooding is now going on along much of the southern stretches of the Mississippi River. Homes are being inundated, businesses are suffering, and evacuations are underway. As of today, flood warnings and advisories stretched more than 500 miles from Mississippi State to as far north as Illinois. Additional rounds of torrential rain are expected to be a-comin'. Most noteworthy has been flooding in and around Jackson, Mississippi, which is expected to see major flooding through at least later today. Yesterday, the Pearl River, which passes about 50 miles east of Mississippi, crested at 36.67 feet. Yesterday's crest was the third highest observed at the station, the highest crest being 43.28 feet on April 17, 1979. The data from the river gauges date back as far as the 1800s. Social media videos show the streets impassable and submerged beneath feet of water. The good news is, the flooding was not as bad as it could have been. Earlier projections of water level rising had it going up to 38 feet. The city dodged the worst case scenario here. Unfortunately, rain is expected to continue through the week and into the weekend and possibly even into next week. Jackson has already recorded 19.9 inches this year, the greatest year-to-date rainfall in at least a half a century of record keeping.